charge rightly said that every contact leaves trace. Thus, a bullet fired will definitely lead to the weapon. Nowadays, at crime scenes, one of the most commonly encountered evidence is firearm or the related parts like bullets, gunshot residues, etc. When such evidences are encountered, an expert in the field of ballistics is summoned to the crime scene to reconstruct the events that are associated with firearms present at the scene. Forensic ballistics is the field that deals with the examination of evidences relating to firearms at crime scenes, including the effects and the behavior of projectiles and the explosive devices. A forensic ballistic expert is one we need for identification of suspected firearms as well as to answer the questions like whether the occurrence is a murder, a killing in self-defense, a suicide, or an accident, whether the bullet encountered at the crime scene is fired from the suspected firearm, or what is the range of firing, and other variety of ballistic expects regarding firearms. Today, we have with us Mr. Raj Srivastava, Joint Director in Charge and Assistant Chemical Examiner to the Government of Madhya Pradesh in Ballistics Division at State Forensic Science Laboratory, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. He'll be talking with us in respect to forensic ballistics field and in future perspectives of it in Indian scenario. Welcome,
Thanks
sir.
a lot. Hi, everyone.
Sir, you have been serving this field for past 22 years. How did you choose forensic as your career?
Actually, honestly speaking, I'm audible properly?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir.
Falguni? Honestly speaking, in India, we don't choose our career so precisely as in the US or Europe or other countries. Being postgraduate in physics, I was this was always a thought. This was always an idea to go some applied field where we can do something. We can contribute to some social cause or some justice cause or some legal cause or some scientific cause. So this was a field. Science is a field which we can you can contribute a lot to the justice in general and in criminal justice system as a whole. So this was the idea, and luckily I was here in forensic science laboratories about 22 years back.
So you didn't had any pre-thought of joining forensics in start?
No, it was actually forensic lab was there. Madhya Pradesh has got one of the oldest forensic lab in India, as you know. So
Yes.
it was always said and postgraduate in physics. So this was a very good applied field, which the basics of physics can relate to the applied aspects of forensic science, especially in forensic physics and forensic ballistics. So luckily, means this was an idea and it was implemented. I got selected through MP Public Service Commission, and I came into this field, and I was happy. So instead of means administration or any other field, it was always an idea to join some laboratory or such laboratory which we can contribute to some cause. This was an idea.
So being a science student, when we choose a career other than engineering or medical sciences, we generally face some criticism. So have you faced such situation in your life?
Actually, being a science student means at school time, I was a mathematics student, mathematics, physics, and chemistry. So medical science was out of question.
Yes.
Engineering, actually, at the time when I was passed out, I did my schools and I passed out. So engineers were facing a tough time in this country. So engineering was definitely engineering was a very fascinating career also, but they were facing tough time, unemployment. So engineering was not always a very good choice at that time.
Okay, sir. So during your college days, what kind of student you were? Were you a carefree student, or you were a bookworm, or a mixture of both? What kind of student? What kind of college life did you have?
Never a bookworm, never a bookworm. Actually, right from my school days, my parents always taught me that education is not all about books and academics only. It's about overall personality development. So
Yes.
this was the right from the school days. It was means have that right in the gut of right in our gut, and this was a thought. So I was not never a bookworm. I had multiple interest. I was interested in music. I was interested in sports and organizing events also. So at school time as well as at college time. So these were my students, and I was quite active, a college goer or very active school goer, and involved in a lot of activities. Lot of activities.
So you were fond of music. So did you perform during cultural nights or college events?
Definitely, I'm a graduate in Indian classical music.
Okay,
So
sir.
I perform. I used to perform. I used to perform on platform. I've performed on very big platforms also.
Okay. Why you got into forensic ballistic field?
Actually, in Madhya Pradesh, as you know, it's one of the oldest lab in the country,
Yes.
and it's a very fascinating, very means elaborated services in Madhya Pradesh, not unlike other states. So there are separate cadres like biological sciences, chemical sciences, and physical sciences. So these are the cadres. So when we when anyone gets selected through a public service commission examination, and he joins a forensic lab. So physics streams, those who belong to physics stream, they can join either forensic physics or forensic ballistics. So ballistics was an obvious choice right from the beginning for me. And I have worked in physics also, forensic physics also, and I've done a lot of good works also, and especially in forensic photofacial analysis and some other fields also. But ballistics was an obvious choice. It was so interesting for me that I always wanted to serve ballistics, and so here I am.
So what made ballistic interesting for you? Like any
Actually,
incident or happened, anything like that?
ballistics is like fingerprint. Ballistics is like DNA. Means it's so accurate, and it's provides so accurate and so beyond the opinion it's very accurate, very impactful for the criminal justice system as a whole. So the opinions are very useful for prosecution, for legal system, and it's always good that when you perform nicely, you have done a very good work, and if it has resulted in some prosecution or some very good impact on justice, it's always make you happy.
So initially when you started working as forensic ballistic expert, what challenges did you face in the field?
Actually, at the time, at 98, 99, 2000, those were the years when I started working. Uh, as a whole, I can say that infrastructure was a problem, not in our lab, in general, all forensic labs in the country. And there was a, I should say one thing, that there was a lack of communication. There was a lack of understanding between all pillars of the criminal justice system, namely prosecution, police, forensics, and above all, the judicial system. So there was no direct communication. There was always bottleneck, but it resulted in always a false decision. I can say, or some not the opinion or the very nice forensic work not getting converted into that results that accurate results in the end. So this was the thing, and fortunately I also got opportunity to serve a training cell also, and we along with my directors, previous directors also, I was uh, given this responsibility also to organize events, and we organize a number of we started around 2010 2011 time, and we are foremost we are among the means upcoming states in that respect, organize a lot of interaction programs between forensics and judiciary, forensics and prosecution, forensics and police officers. So that was a milestone. That became a milestone in this field, and I can't express in words that what impact these programs have done, especially in Madhya Pradesh.
So you faced a communication problem when you entered Sagar Labs. So what is it now like in reference to infrastructure?
Actually, it is.
Are they sharing?
Good would say infrastructure wise. We have been developing constantly, and there is no problem at present. Now we are right from the beginning. It's one of the oldest and oldest, most reputed lab in the country.
Yes.
And Ballistics has got a special reputation of our lab, and there is no equipment problem now. There's no infrastructure problem now. We can infrastructure we cannot compare with European labs or American labs. So
Yes.
there are some limitations, but otherwise, national level there is no. So things have improved a lot.
So we all are aware that forensic ballistics is an old field, like it started in early 1800s. But this field is still new to India. Like we don't have much equipments, or not many labs test these firearms. So what are the major developments that you have experienced?
Actually, in 60s and in 70s, if
Yes.
we talk about the countries as a whole, so forensic labs were upcoming in the country. At CFSLs also and state FSLs also were upcoming. Our lab is one of the oldest lab, and
Yes.
labs were upcoming. And specifically, if you talk about ballistics, so
Yes.
infrastructure may be slightly lagging in India, you can say, in some respect. But so far as the expertise and accuracy of the opinion is concerned, we are not
Yes.
lagging behind in any respect as compared to the European labs or Americans lab. So expertise and accuracy is not the means something which you can say that this area has to be uh, improved and compared to the US labs or European labs or labs of other countries. So things have improved a lot since then. Still improved.
Most of the countries have strict laws regarding the manufacture of country-made weapons or homemade guns, or converting toys or replica weapons into um, missile firing weapons, improvised weapons, right? But in India, there is no such thing, and most of the cases encountered are of country-made weapons. So, what you have to say about it? And over the years, we have seen developments also in techniques, but the examination of country-made firearms still remains same. So, what you have to say about it?
Actually, this is something very relevant, which you have the point which you have raised. something very relevant in Indian context.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you will be surprised to know that states like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, then Rajasthan, then in South you can say Karnataka and even Tamil Nadu, and then Assam and Punjab, or border states. Most of the crime is being committed using country-made firearms. I can
Yes.
give you the data. If my lab, Madhya Pradesh lab, if you consider uh, 80 to 85% firearms or cases involve country-made firearms. So this is one reason why we cannot have a firearm data bank like other countries. Like it's just not possible in India. Just not possible in India. So this is a challenge also, and we have gained expertise on country-made firearms specifically. So which we use this expertise which we use in our work, and other states are also using us. We share knowledge in various training programs, seminars, and other events, and otherwise also we share. And the expertise which we have gained is used by other states also.
So this expertise which you have gained through experience,
Mhm.
uh, can it be used for making a database for such firearms? Like,
Actually,
have
it's
you
a
tried doing that?
no, actually database like DNA database or fingerprint database or some other kind of database. It's just not possible to have a database of firearm signatures in this country. Reason behind that country-made firearms are called country-made pistols or kattas. They are usually means used to commit a single crime also. After that, they are destroyed or thrown away. So how can we have a database of that? And what will we have a database? We have a data that in certain crime, a certain country-made firearm or pistol is have been used. So we have the marks and signatures of that in our record. But that firearm will never be used to commit another crime. So what will we do with that
With
data?
the data?
So a new crime, a new firearm. It is
Yes.
so easily available. It is so easily, so cheaply available that anyone can afford and commit the crime, throw away the firearm. What can we do? So this is the
The
scenario.
real crime scenes are very different from what we study in books. So, would you like to share some prerequisites of ensuring a smooth crime scene investigations in real crime?
Also, something very relevant you are talking about. In fact, every crime scene is unique.
Yes.
Like if you consider hanging or drowning or crime scene involving firearms. So no two crime scene are equal. So
Same.
there are checklists that this way, following this checklist, you will examine or investigate this crime scene, or you will scientifically observe the physical evidences over there. But that is just an outline. Every crime scene is unique, and it has something that that is specific, special to that crime scene also. And so far as crime scene involving firearms, so they are the toughest crime scene, considered as the toughest crime scene, which involves firing, shooting using some country-made firearms or factory-made firearms or whatever. So they, they are the toughest one, and especially when we are asked to, or when we are supposed to differentiate between homicidal shooting, suicidal shooting, or accidental shooting, so they become more tougher. So there are considerations, and we have gained expertise. We educate police investigating officers. We educate fellow students. We educate our junior officers, and there is a sharing also between the crime scene units. As you know, Madhya Pradesh has got the strongest crime scene network in country. And we have got crime scene units functioning at almost all the districts. So there's constant sharing between crime scene experts working in the district, and right from the crime scene, there is a sharing of knowledge, sharing of comments, or sharing of other considerations. So this way it goes, and finally we get a very good results.
So, would you share some experience of yours, like any crime scene which you have visited and the difficulties that you have experienced? Scene
Actually, it's a different
investigation.
it's a different it's altogether a different type of analysis as compared to what we are doing at the laboratory level. At
Yes,
laboratory level, there are protocols, there are manuals, there are SOPs. We follow that. But at crime scene, there are factors you came across newer things, and you have to plan the investigation. So that investigation is planned. Roughly, there are two, if you consider the scientific investigation of crime, there are roughly two fields. One is crime scene investigation and other is laboratory analysis. It is
yes,
obvious, it is quite obvious to notice that the crime scene investigation is an active part. If
yes, sir.
you destroy any physical evidence or if you skip any physical evidence at the crime scene, what would a laboratory
Will test, right?
will test? So it's an active field. So it's these minute things have to be kept in mind when you are at crime scene, and there is an attempt that no thing, no clue, no physical evidence should be skipped or should be should remain uncovered. So this should always be kept in mind. And while at crime scene, you plan the investigation, and while at crime scene, you reconstruct the event. So, if we talk, if we consider some temporal things, means in reference of time. So, what would have been the situation before the commitment of the crime and after commitment of the crime? Similarly, the approach of the criminals or culprits. So, how did they approach the crime scene, and how did they leave the crime scene? So these, if you stitch these things, you will reconstruct the sequence of
Crime.
event, and you will definitely unearth you will definitely conclude, reach up to some very useful conclusion.
Say in court room where during expert deposition or cross examination, what is the silliest question that has been asked
Silliest.
to you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So all lawyers don't have the knowledge of ballistics, so they might be asking some silly questions or funny questions. So, what is the silliest memory of yours?
No, we come across a lot of silly things in courtroom. Honestly speaking, uh, if I recall, recently there was a during a trial, during means my court evidence, a defense lawyer asked me. That was very good opinion. We linked a bullet which was recovered from the body during postmortem with the firearm. We also successfully linked the cartridge case, the empty cartridge shell, which was seized from the crime scene, with the firearm. So the firearm seized from the possession of the criminal was successfully linked with the bullet and the cartridge case. So we have linked the criminal with the crime scene with the crime. It was a success story. But the defense lawyer was again and again arguing that you are saying that this cartridge has been fired through this firearm. I said yes. And that you are saying that the bullet has been fired through this firearm. I said yes. And there is no doubt. And there is no doubt. This is like DNA. This is like fingerprint. A most accurate opinion, but you cannot say that this bullet belonged to this cartridge case. So I tried to that this is not relevant when we have linked the cartridges with the firearm, we have linked the bullet with the firearm. What is the need of this argument? So no, you have to say either yes or no. That you cannot say that this very bullet, this particular bullet, belong to this empty cartridge shell. So again, in such situations, this was something silly, but in the situation, we try to convince the honorable judges that what we are trying to say. And in most of the cases, as I've told you, that we have been a lot of interaction program with judicial officers. So they know the basics, and our concern is to convince the judge, not the lawyer.
Sir, at times judges also don't have idea about ballistics. They also might agree with lawyers. So at that time,
Like, but there are ways to convince the scientific things in a layman's language. So this is a challenge. This is definitely a challenge, and we have been interacting with the judges a lot. In Madhya Pradesh, we have trained all the judicial officers in terms of forensic science, all in all fields, the ballistics, toxicology, chemistry, DNA, etc., etc. So in the situation is getting better and better here, but you're right that a judge is not that scientific person. He's not a ballistic expert, but there are ways to convince the judge in a simple language that these are the findings, and based on these findings, this is the opinion. So
so the training programs that you run, do you think lawyers too should have joined some such training programs so they have a better understanding?
actually, the function of a lawyer is uh, to argue, to make arguments in favor of his client. So
Yes, sir.
is his or her client has committed some crime, so he will always try to argue in his or her favor. So I
Yes,
don't think there is much impact, or there's a positive impact of training lawyers. So we are organizing training programs frequently, training programs for
judges.
higher judiciary, and that has got a tremendous impact. Tremendous impact. We are getting the fruits of that right now.
So if you wish to have a firearm, which one would you like to have and why?
There are beautiful firearms. They're beautiful. They have been beautifully designed Indian Ordnance Factory has recently designed and now regularly fabricating 7.65 pistols. So they are good compared to any product worldwide, American or European products, and they are comparatively cheaper. So very affordable, cost effective, accurate, and very easy to possess, lightweight pistols. So Indian Ordnance Factory's 7.65 pistol is very good to possess.
Okay. So what are the technologies that you would like to introduce to India in respect to have a foolproof examinations and overcome the challenges that we face?
In ballistics or
In
in general?
ballistics, sir. In ballistics.
In ballistics, as I've earlier told you, that we are not lagging behind in terms of infrastructure, in terms of equipment. In any case, what we are using, the most modern, most advanced microscopes, most advanced equipments in our laboratories in Madhya Pradesh, in other states, even in Government of India laboratories, CFS here. So there is we are not lagging in even in expertise. We are not lagging. So what they are having, they are as we have discussed earlier also, they are having a firearm signature data bank.
Yes.
So there are some techniques which enable various laboratories to have a firearm data bank and share them across the net, across a country or across globally. So one such technique is integrated ballistics identification system. So in countries, a few laboratories are using that. In Gujarat is using that. If I'm not wrong, Chandigarh is using that. CFS Chandigarh is using that. Other states are using that. The problem is, which I've told you, that 85% crime is being committed using
Countrymen.
country-made firearms, which are thrown away after committing the crime. So
Yes.
we are left with, again we left with that not 10 to 15% firearms, which the data bank, but something is better than nothing. So we
Yes.
can have that. So this is one technique which we can adopt, and so it will work in factory made regular firearms. The crimes which are using the regular firearms, at least it will be working in that area.
So, if you were not a forensic expert, then what alternative career would you choose?
Very tricky question to answer.
Sir, if you were not a forensic expert, then it's obvious you would have done something in life, right? So, what is the alternative career?
Actually, I've got a teaching flair. I find of teaching because sharing knowledge is always a very good thing.
Yes, sir.
What
Definitely.
what your approach is, your understanding, your thoughts, if they are shared across a number of people, it's good. Sharing of
Yes.
knowledge is always good. So I would have been a university teacher. I still teach a lot. I teach. I means deliver lectures to judicial officers, to prosecutors, to police investigating officers, to university students, forensic science students, and I would have been either I would have been a university teacher or a freelance writer. I I have worked some science magazines and newspapers, and in my early years, and I would have been if not a ballistician, I might have become a science teacher, a science writer, or a university teacher.
That's impressive. So, according to you, what opportunities does a student might find in this field?
Actually, it's an open field, as we have been discussing right through now. That it's an open field. There is an opportunity. It's a lot of opportunity of research. There are a lot of opportunity to do newer things. So if some university pass out, forensic science pass out, forensic science postgraduate enters the field of forensic ballistics. So there is a lot of opportunity for doing research like GSR, gunshot residues, is a very upcoming field. And apart from that, there is newer versions of newer types of firearms, newer, more accurate firearms are coming. They're posing the posing challenges at for an expert. So there are newer things. So many things in ballistics. It's an open field, and so many things in ballistics. So a very good research area, might be a very good research area, a very good field for doing or adopting something new.
So, if you get a chance to thank one person in your life, whom would you like to thank?
Actually, first of all, we should always be thankful to the Almighty, the God, for means giving us opportunity of doing what we are doing, what
Yes, sir.
contribution we are making, what good things we are doing is we should be thankful to the God. Apart from that, my teacher, Professor Raj Srivastava, physics teacher, is a renowned professor, internationally known professor. And apart from that, my father, he was also my teacher. He's a professor. He is a physics professor. So these two persons I would like to thank. And so far as forensic science is concerned, so my earliest bosses, my first joint director, Ballistics, he also needs. He also I'm also thankful to him also.
Any message you want to give to students who wish to start their career in forensic ballistics field?
Actually, as against other careers, like say administration or say police or say education or any there may be a number of fields. If someone wishes to join this field, forensic science or in particular ballistics or any other branch of forensic science, so there is a responsibility.
Yes.
There is a responsibility of that whatever you are doing is going into a legal system, a criminal justice system. So what you do, what results you are getting, what findings you are means conveying to the system is will be used for prosecution or for legal things. So this is an additional responsibility which has to be kept in mind if someone wishes to join forensic science as a career.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very happy to have you as a guest over here, and I'm privileged to get a chance to interact with you. Thank you so much.
No, it was nice interacting with you. And one thing which I would like to add that Clue4 is doing a remarkable job in the country. I have no words to say. So keep it up and my wishes. Thanks.
Thank
It
you.
was nice interacting to you.
Thank you, sir.